Hi everyone and welcome back to VexHexGames. Today I'm going to be showing you around my farm in Stardew Valley. Now this was the first playthrough of the game that I 100%ed, and it took several years of both real-time and in-game time to accomplish. My farmer's name is Rockley and my farm's name is Digglebutt because I was looking for something silly and it made me laugh a lot. In the game I've got a cat named Henrietta and a horse named Dorian on my farm. Currently I'm dating Elliot, but I've got Krobus as my roommate/housemate. Krobus is arguably my favorite NPC in this entire game. I absolutely adore him. He's great. He's so lovable and so cute. I love him to pieces. So this is my house. A lot of the wall decorations perfectly match my aesthetic in real life. I like the chaotic energy that's going on here. Making wine is one of the fastest ways that I've found that I like making money in this game, and one of the most rewarding ways personally. So I really dedicated my house space to becoming a winery to serve the purpose of not only making money really fast, but also I just thought that it looked really cool. There isn't a lot of order because, again, I like the chaos and the chaotic energy that I have in this house. A good tip for anyone who doesn't know, it's typically more profitable to convert fruit into wine, even if it's gold star fruit, which was something that I didn't realize for a good percentage of playing the game. Here we have the exterior. Over time, I kind of wanted a little bit of everything until the fish pond update came out, and that just took over my entire focus in this game. I love the fish ponds. They're great. I love how different fish can turn the ponds different colors. I love the products that they produce that you can sell for a good, easy kind of consistency with making money. I love the way that the fish look themselves. I like having the little signs that show you how many fish are in the pond. I like that if you're needing a fish for a quest and you've got the pond for it, you could just throw in your lure and just take them out really quickly. They're just really neat. They're just an aesthetic choice that I really resonate with and really like. This fish pond collection is a personal source of pride and joy for me on this farm. You'll notice that I also have all of the warp obelisks on my farm for 3 reasons. 1, they're necessary to 100% the game. 2, they look really cool. And 3, they save so much time and effort when trying to travel around. Yes, they take a lot of resources, and yes, they take a hell of a long time to be able to obtain, but I think they're not only worth it, but they just really look awesome. My favorite animals on the farm are kind of rare, especially for YouTube video playthroughs, because when there was the big Stardew Valley wave of gaming that happened, the update for ostriches hadn't happened yet. So a lot of people don't know that ostriches now exist in the game or haven't seen them. My personal favorites on the farm include the ostriches and the dinosaurs, and then followed by the blue chickens and the void chickens. I could get an auto petter for my animals, but to me that just feels like cheating. If I have all of these animals, I want them to feel loved, you know? I want to take the time to give them attention, I want to care for them, I want to make them feel like they belong on the farm just as much as I do. I don't know, just taking care of animals in this game hits differently than having to deal with a bunch of the human beings and the spouses. Now, another requirement to 100% the game is that you have to maximize your friendship with everybody in order to complete it. Now, I'm not sure if that includes Leo or not. Leo is the little kid who lives on Ginger Island, who you can eventually convince to come and move onto the Stardew Valley mainland, so to speak, but I'm not sure if getting max hearts with him counts for completing it or not. But I did get max hearts with him just because he is a precious little being who deserves to be protected. Here we've got Ginger Island, which is a relatively new-ish update to Stardew Valley. And I say new-ish, it could have come out like a year or 2 ago by now. I don't know. Time has no meaning during this pandemic situation. But Ginger Island is a really neat area where I spent so many hours just exploring it and getting familiar with it. To me, I had always liked the idea of having some kind of beach farm or beach environment that I could live on and farm on. So to me, it was really cool. If we take a second to look at the perfection tracker, you'll notice that obviously I've got all the stats out, but the hardest ones for me to be able to achieve were the golden clock on the farm, because again, you have to have like $10 million or $100 million, something like that, and it just took so long to accumulate that kind of money, even though I was making crazy bank after a while in just 1 day's worth of work. The golden clock was still a really difficult time. The second thing that I'm really proud of in this playthrough is the Monster Slayer hero, because that just took so much time and effort and attention to be able to achieve. Getting to level 10 in combat to max out that skill is relatively easy, but being able to defeat every monster, and so many of every monster just took forever. And it was another really time prolonging event that I was just really proud when I achieved it. And then finally, the third thing on this perfection tracker that I'm probably the most proud of being able to do is catching all of the fish, because that is all about timing. You got to make sure that you're in the right weather situation and the right time of day and the right season, once or twice or whatever per year to be able to have this happen. And there were a couple of times where I would mess up fishing and I'd have to restart the day, or just say, screw it, I'll go back to this a year from now in the game time and just deal with it another time. And it just took so long to be able to do, because I'm not one who usually restarts days. I mean, unless the game crashes, typically I try to go through the day, and if I mess something up, if I miss something, if I miss out on something, more importantly, I just say, you know what, I'll get to it at another point, and I just keep moving on. So for me, I think I maybe reset the day for only 2 fish, and I cannot for the life of me remember which ones they were, but they were definitely 2 of the rarest fish in the game that I spent hours of in real life time trying to be able to accomplish. Now you notice that my farm on Ginger Island is also chaotic, kind of like my house. There's not a whole lot of organization going on. When I was making the farm, I wasn't really thinking about, okay, from a mathematical standpoint, how many plots of dirt can I plow in this one section? How many sprinklers do I need to put down? I was just digging. And going crazy and having fun. So again, very chaotic, not organized at all. If you ask me who my favorite love interests in this game are, and I do have a lot. See, I know I talk shit about having, to pay attention to my spouse and everything, but Stardew Valley truly is one of my favorite games because of the well-crafted, well-written, and just heartbreaking and really emotional love stories that appear in this game between yourself and all of the NPCs that you can romance. And even yourself and all of the platonic NPCs that you can't romance, that you still build equally as important relationships with throughout the game as the game progresses. It's just a really homey, a really warm and wholesome game, because everything is just so meticulously thought out and planned. Everybody has their own original backstory. There's nothing repetitive in this game. If you date one guy, if I date Alex, it's a completely different experience than if I date Sam. Dating Elliot is totally different than dating Harvey. Dating Leah is completely different than dating Abigail. Like, none of them compare. They all have their own kind of tragic backstory or tragic elements, but they also all have something about them that really stands out to you and that you can connect with. It's all about your interests, and it's all about what you're into. More often than not, I tend to romance Leah. She's kind of like my go-to. And then next after Leah, I tend to go after Harvey, because I just think he's adorable with his little mustache, a little cute nerd. Now I'm romancing Elliot for the first time. We're currently dating in this game. I don't know if I'm going to marry him yet, because again, I don't want to kick out Krobus. And then I also think Haley's romance is actually kind of interesting, because I love a girl who's mean. I love the mean girl who just like bullies you and says mean stuff, and then turns out to have just the biggest soft spot and is just a total dweeb at the end of the day. That's my aesthetic. I love a girl who's just so mean, but then she turns out to be really sweet and caring and kind, and that's Haley's kind of arc. She starts out as just a total bitch, and then she gets really compassionate and empathetic. I mean, not too much, but she still has, a little like the bratty, snobby tune to her. But I don't know. There's just something about her that I really like. So she's definitely in my top 5 for romance options. Some of the characters that I have not romanced yet that I want to try to give a shot soon, especially to get all of the Steam achievements, include Alex, Sam, Emily, and Penny. Although, I'll probably save Penny for last out of all of the possible romance options, because there's just too much with Penny's story and her characterization that resonate with me, and that's actually a turnoff. Whereas, like, some people look for people who are like them in video games. I think that what Penny has going on is just too close to home for me, and I'm just like, you know what, I'd rather try with Abigail or with Sam or one of the other characters first before I get to Penny. She'll probably wind up being last. And that's nothing against Penny's character. She's sweet, she's gentle, she's adorable, she's fantastic. I just think she's a little too close to home for me with some of the stuff that she has going on. I was originally introduced to this game on co-op mode. I practiced playing it and got into it. And then after I had a good grasp and understanding of how to go about playing the game, I decided that I was going to get it for myself and play on solo mode. Or it was given to me and I played on solo mode. I can't remember. But I really took the reins on it, and it was a lot of trial and error. It was a lot of building my farm in different ways, seeing what worked for me, what didn't. At first, I tried having all the half of one side of my farm be an orchard, and then all the other half be just actual like farming. And I was like, well, this doesn't work. This is too much effort. This is too much work. Aesthetically, it doesn't fit me. So it took a lot of trying to build different things and see what fit. So that's part of the reason why I'm so like happy and proud that the fish ponds were made, because not only did they take up a huge chunk of space on the farm, but they also fit what I was looking for, which was to have small sections of water on the farm, because I'm a very water oriented person. Somebody asked me once, after all of the years of both in-game time and in real life, do I still go to all of the holiday and seasonal events in the game? And the answer is yes. I really love the Halloween event. I really love, the Feast of the Winter Star. All of that stuff appeals to me because it promotes a sense of unity. It promotes the sense of belonging. When you're playing the game and you go to these events, and again, this is different for other people. This is just my perspective. But for me, it makes me feel like I'm part of something. It makes me feel like these characters that I've spent so much time and effort building up positive relationships with, giving them gifts, talking to them, finding out their story, it makes me feel like they want me there. And for me, I love a video game that makes me feel like I should be part of the environment, that I am part of the world. And I like a game that really takes its time to include me as a player. The games that I find the most immersive and the most engaging, the ones that really try to make me feel like I'm part of that found family that the game has worked so hard to build so beautifully, those games are the ones that stand out to me. Stardew Valley, Dragon Age, Mass Effect, they just have something about them when it comes to world building that I find just absolutely breathtaking. And it's those style of games, any kind of RPG that actually tells a story well and actually develops characters well, that I really resonate with. And Stardew Valley is just the perfect example of that. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope that you enjoyed just seeing a little snippet of my farm. This is kind of how everything looks when you've 100%ed the game. Of course, there are several different variations that you can make, but this is just how I decided to go about doing it. If you want to see more of this farm, or if you want to see anything with my new farm that I started with, please let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I hope I'll see you soon. Toodles!